trust you. And that is their coping mechanism. They will make decisions that deliver a specific perception of their own reality. And that reality is a compromised reality because you are not involved. You want this to be done in the right way. They want this to be done in the right way because their own definition of right is how they perceive it. Your definition of right, you are the person she doesn't trust. Even when you try to understand. But let your understanding deliver a perception of my reality. Deliver that you are doing it for my sake and for my safety, for that communicates that even when I don't trust you, I can at least rely on you. And now you try to understand, it's weird. It is weird. You try to be polite, understanding, then you lower yourself. But this is the one mistake you're going to make. The moment you try to understand, be polite, most of the time you are amplifying that coping mechanism. I'm not saying you should be rude, but accept that you can't change people how they see the world. You need to understand people act in ways they feel they need to act, for that communicates a specific perception, or rather it matches with their coping mechanism. For that coping mechanism, it's a wall that is preventing them from growing. I mean, you can trust people, but you have some genuine good people. Not everyone, but some do exist. But it doesn't also mean you should punish everyone. And not everyone, yourself. The moment you act in ways that prevents you from growing, you are also punishing yourself. Now, this is what most you men do. When she acts in ways that communicate she is that extreme avoidant, what do? You try to understand. You try to ask. You try to care so much, right? But it gives her a confirmation that she can control you the way she wants, and she can magnify that coping mechanism. It's healthy to you. But remember, you are seeking connection, intimacy, but it's as if she doesn't want to go deep. When she goes deep, she will lose some part of herself, and she doesn't want that. She was hurt in her past. She was disappointed in her past. But there is healing. There must be something that must allow her heal. By accepting that, even when they are consistently out of themselves, they are never really present, even when they act as if they are present. For being present, I need to connect with you, but within a shorter period of time. When I realize that there is a deeper connection from the outside world that is trying to get inside me, I try to disengage. And then things try to go against them. When someone acts in a negative way because of their energy, then she asks herself, people are just bad. People act in ways that is just toxic. I mean, look at yourself. You want someone to do things for you in a certain way to deliver a specific reality. But that someone isn't okay with your operation because it doesn't make someone feel safe. They can't trust you. Even when you act as if they must and they need to trust you. But your genuine motive behind that is what? Control. For controlling them allows you to think that at least I have the power, not because I need the power, but it reinforces the coping mechanism of being avoidant. They will never open up. And sometimes if they don't accept that that is part of themselves, they most of the time end up alone. That is another fact. So you care so much, right? You want her to be your wife, right? She is an avoidant and you try to comply, right? Because one day you will tell yourself, you know what, it is what it is. It is what it is, Isaac. You want to connect. I understand. But remember, that doesn't mean, again, that doesn't mean you should act in ways that must compromise your state of being, and you shouldn't socialize. And you should always comply to their demands. No, come on. If she decides to walk away, it's not okay with her, then maybe it was meant to happen. You can act in ways that shows love. She will act in ways that shows love, but at the same time, she is disconnected. At the same time, you must act in ways that shows you are amplifying her coping mechanism. And most of the time when you try to show love and maybe she lacks something, she acts in ways that is negative. Sometimes it's as if she doesn't appreciate you are investing, because it will allow her to also emotionally connect with you. Or she needs to have the power or the control by acting in a negative way to reinforce that coping mechanism. So it's as if I need to feel like it is happening on my own terms, on my own way. One day you will get tired and then you will tell yourself, you know what, I'm tired. I'm tired of this shit. I'm walking away. I've done my best. You know it is not an act. You've been putting the efforts. You've been trying to understand, but now it's too much. Now you decide, you know what? Let it be the way it is. I'm walking out. This is when she will come. No. Let's talk about this. Let's just solve this, right? And the solving isn't accepting and conversing and having a genuine conversation of how their action is affecting the relationship, and who they are is the reason why the relationship is not growing. It has a cracked foundation. And at this very moment, you comply, right? Her talking, it's in the acting, the doing. It's not in the conversation of us involving and have an emotional conversation. It's in the doing, it's in the acting, okay, to solve the situation. Because I want to be in control. For being in control reinforces the coping mechanism that I already reinvented in my life, because I can never trust anyone unless I am in control. Bullshit. You know, the thing is not to hate them, but to accept that you can never change anyone. They are not bad people. You can't understand that maybe in the past they have gone through trauma, they were disappointed, their parents neglected them. That is a fact. But we have to agree one thing: every one of us have gone through some shit, and you have to accept that so that you can grow. The fact is, she is always a lone wolf that will never fit anywhere. You are there trying to frankly engage with her. She is the avoidant. But then she's not willing to open up. The thing you want us to talk about, I'm not willing to talk about it. It's a save. I don't want to talk about it. So you have to open up so that you can have that conversation. But she's not willing, and she was on the wrong side, but she's not willing. It's not about the right and the wrong, it's about who is in control. For being in control confirms that the coping mechanism still exists in me. That is an energy. But this is what you do. You try to understand, what did I do wrong? You can't understand. You will never understand an avoidant. That doesn't mean you should also act in ways that is unhealthy to you. Because she is totally disengaged and closed off, she's not ready to connect, it doesn't mean you should also disengage and close off on who you are. You can only survive with them when you have totally disengaged and closed off. But that is not healthy. If that is the coping mechanism, you have your own way of coping with this. It doesn't mean you should also act in ways that delivers healthy. Don't change. Accept that that is who they are, and let not their action affect who you are. Because once they change you, they'll stop feeling attracted to you. Have a mindset that despite Hannah being unhealthy, I need to have my own healthy life. I need to spend my own time. I need to act in ways that is healthy to me. Because Hannah is totally disconnected from people, it doesn't mean I should totally disconnect from people, because I will need to control them for me to get a result. The second thing is, one fact that exists is the relationship is already built on a foundation of unhealthy, and it's not a strong foundation. It's not that strong. Accepting that will allow you to identify and learn that some people exist so that you can also learn. You can have a relationship with them, but the moment it becomes unhealthy, you step back. They want to walk away, let them walk away. You don't act in ways that show they can control you, because it again will affect you. You have to accept they were hurt. She is an avoidant. That is okay. It shouldn't define your life. But most of the time, you will invest in her because she is consistently investing in you, but she is totally detached. She is an avoidant. You are trying to engage with her, so you are trying to force your energy into her. When they have power and control, that is their own definition of a relationship exists. Once they lose power and control, a relationship doesn't exist. Your state, when you have invested in them emotionally, that communicates they are in control. When you disengage emotionally, that communicates they are not in control. They are losing the relationship. So they act in ways that will influence you to invest emotionally, because you are wondering, they're doing the right thing, trying hard. Why will she act this way, try so hard, but again avoidant, disengaged? I have to feel like I am in control because I can deal with my own issues in that way, for that makes me feel in a certain way, but at the same time, eventually you will get invested in her action. Yes, they can be good partners if they accept that they don't need to act in ways that deliver an illusion. The moment you try to understand, most of the time, you are totally fucked. You can never understand her. You can never understand them, and accept that. Don't treat them bad. Don't disrespect them. They are good people. If they accept, maybe to see a therapist, but be aware that even when you are building a relationship, that foundation is cracked. That is the one acceptance that will allow you to understand that maybe you are too much invested, and see the fact as it is. They need to feel like they are always the victim, so that again they can feel like they are in control. Your opinion doesn't matter because it communicates to them that they are in control. It's not about like they have a narcissistic character behavior in them. Not because they want to be narcissistic, but some of them, they are not aware. They are so self-centered in that they do not know that how they act is narcissistic. Why? Because they are putting in their efforts. They just need to feel like they are in control. That is all they need. For that amplifies what? Their avoidant attachment style that communicates now they feel safe. You build a relationship for 10 years, for 20 years, you think, it is on a healthy foundation. One day, they realize they are losing control, they are not in power. This is when everything will collapse, because you thought you knew them, but then you realize you don't really know them.